Hey everyone, and welcome back to Nothing Venture, Nothing Game. Today, in this episode, we will be doing a review of Bitting Starfinder's playtest for 2nd edition. That's right, Paizo has released the hardbound book of Starfinder in 2nd edition. And look at that, me and the book, we match. I got the same shirt, kind of matches the book. We went for an outer space theme. Woo. So stick around as we kind of dive into it and go over generally what's in this book. This isn't a full deep dive into the classes and the ancestries. If that's something you want to see, please let us know in the comments down below. So, first and foremost, what is Starfinder 2nd edition? Starfinder 2nd edition runs off of the Pathfinder 2nd edition rules, or the remaster rules. A lot of things, if you've played Pathfinder, you'll notice it has the 3-action system, the reaction system. The tags are in here. It's very simple if you're coming from Pathfinder 2nd edition and you understand those rules. It's super easy. If you haven't played Pathfinder 2nd edition and you really want to get into Starfinder playtest, they do make reference to the player core in a lot of spells and other abilities and skills. They say, hey, if you have athletics, please check out PC. So you'll see, like it'll say player core, rules on how, certain abilities or certain feats work. So if you have the player core and you want to jump into Starfinder, all that stuff in the player core for like skill feats work in Starfinder. So if you want to build an athletics-based character and there are feats in Pathfinder that you want to use, you could totally use it in this. So that's pretty awesome. So, what do you get in this? You have 12 ancestries. Now, some of them you'll remember from regular Starfinder. So you have the android, the human, the rat folk. They have a specific name in here, but then they do make reference to the fact that in Pathfinder game they're referred to as rat folk. I'm gonna butcher it, as I have been asking for a pronunciation key or phonetic way to pronounce these fantastical names, and I've yet to get one in a rule book, which would really help me out. And they have the Skittermanders. And they've also added in 2 kind of new ancestries that I haven't seen. I was kind of like trying to look them up, and I haven't really found anything. And those 2 aren't. They are 2 versatile ancestries, and they are the Borai, Borai, Borai. It's a living entity, so you're at once a alive and also dead. You're considered like an undead creature. It's very interesting. You're not like a Dhampir or anything like that. So it's an interesting ancestry, and that's them right there. Basically, you look like whatever you were when you were alive. So if you were a human and you've taken this versatile, now you look human. You could be a Skittermander and have this. And the second one is, it's not. I've been trying to understand this ancestry. It's not a versatile ancestry. It's a prismeni. They are entities that have like absorbed the drift energies, and now you're this creature, but you're also, again, you look like your ancestry, your previous ancestry. So if you're a human, you would look human, but then you also have these very alien features, and that's a weird thing to say in a game when you can actually play a 4-armed alien. But you have interesting features about you. So some of the things that they say, that you might have, like right here, they say you might have metallic gray eyes, rainbow colored locks, thick cords of wire for hair. So you're just kind of like this very interesting character. So that's a new ancestry. So one's a versatile ancestry, the other is a different ancestry. So again, you have 12, including the versatile. So 11 flat out ancestries and 12th versatile. On top of that, you could 100%, like I said earlier about the skills, you could 100% use from Pathfinder 2nd Edition, elves, dwarves, some, you know, if it makes sense in the Starfinder universe, you could use it if you want to be a tiefling, or they don't call them tieflings, Nephilim. If you want to be a Nephilim, you could choose to be a Nephilim and use that stuff. Now, remember, this is still a playtest, and also if you're using stuff from Pathfinder and bringing it over to Starfinder, some of the heritage stuff might not line up properly. Next up are your backgrounds. Again, similar to Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So you have your ancestries, you have your backgrounds. You have 24 backgrounds, I believe, and they're very much in line with Starfinder. So if you're trying to build Starfinder characters, these backgrounds align perfectly with that. Again, if you want to use something from Pathfinder CORE, Player CORE, you probably could, but stop trying to make your GM's life hard. Just use the Starfinder stuff. But some of the cool ones are like Space Pirate, or tech support, or vid gamer. So you're a streamer. So what I do. And then you go on to your classes. And this is the big one. Obviously, if you want to see a full breakdown of every class, let us know in the comments down below. And your classes are Envoy, Mystic, Operative, Solarian, Soldier, and Witch Warper. And Envoy is, again, if you're coming from if you're coming from Starfinder, you'll notice some classes are missing, but Envoy is both a leader character, a character with a lot of charisma, so you might be the face, and also you do have a lot of martial skills. It's a very interesting class. I didn't like it originally, but in this, I got to read it full out, and I really did like it. I liked what I saw. They have really cool features that allow you to be part of the activity, but also kind of stand in the back. So one of the cool things is like get them, and it's a single action. You're like, yo, get that dude over there. And if you lead by example, and that's one of the big things, lead by example, you give more buffs to your players if you do what you're asking your companions to do, which I think is great. Mystics, if you haven't played Starfinder and you're just kind of like hearing about Starfinder, Mystics, for your best part, is kind of a combination of sorcerer meets cleric. You have deity stuff, but then you also have your connections, and your connections are similar to like your sorcerer bloodlines. So one of the connections is, your connection is elemental. You channel the raw power of the primordial elements that you've converged to create the universe and everything in it. You might have a strong affinity to the elemental plane of existence, or just natural understanding. Your spellcasting tradition is nature, which is similar to sorcerer from Pathfinder. You know, your bloodline gives you kind of where your spells are picked from. And then they also have the deities domain, because you can choose to have a deity, and that's how you kind of work it out. So like I said, a combination of your cleric sorcerer. Next up is the operative, and I'll just show you a cool picture. Operative is your ranger rogue kind of class, using, you know, if you're coming from Pathfinder or or like Dungeons and Dragons, operative is a ranger rogue kind of combination, and they take aim. You choose kind of your specialization, your operative specialization, and that gives you specific abilities that you can do. So like one of them is, so the one I liked was Striker. You specialize in hand-to-hand combat and prefer to fight using your fist or lightweight melee weapons rather than guns. Whether you're a daredevil who lives for the thrill, a martial artist who likes to show off, or an assassin who kills with a personal touch, you take the fight to your foes and use your body as a weapon. You're trained in athletics. You gain a skill for athletics. You choose strength as a key attribute. And that's something you would understand from the player core. Strength is your key attribute. So when you're building your character, strength you can have as a core. So you get that automatically as a bump. And then when it says gain a skill feat for athletics, you could take Hefty Hauler, which is again from Pathfinder CORE, and that's a feat you can use in this, or you can look in and get different feats. Next up is the Solarian, and that's a new ancestry. It's I call it the cat folk. They have a special name for them. I apologize again. I don't want to butcher a name, but yeah. So Chester Cheeto over here, looking awesome. Solarians are kind of a combination. Solarians are a combination of, I would say, a champion or a paladin, for those of you coming from like Dungeons and Dragons. So a champion or a paladin mixed with monk. That's my best guess. Or like kineticist if we're looking at it. So if you've ever played Mass Effect, Solarians kind of work like adepts from Mass Effect. It's very strange. They are martial based, right? So one of the big features of Solarian is you get to create a solar weapon that gets formed from the solar energies through your sheer will. Ah, so epic. And when you do that, you select features for that weapon. And that would be parry, sweep, non-lethal shove. And then you also select the weapon group. So you can say a flail with sweep. So it's a big flail that has sweep, and it kind of like you automatically are trained in it, and you can like summon it to your hand. But talking about the adept, what Solarians do is they kind of flip between gravity and solar energy, and you choose a specific alignment. And one of them, like you could have, is degradant, and that one you kind of focus on the degradation of everything in the universe. And one of the revelations you get is black hole. So for like 2 actions, you just concentrate on like all gravity around you, and then you summon it all into one spot, and everything gets pulled to you, and it's pretty freaking cool. So I like Solarian. The first time I ever played Starfinder, that's the class I played. So I got a special kind of place in my heart for it. And if you're coming from Starfinder, you know the Iconics. That's in Starfinder. That's the Solarian that they chose. And then next up is the Soldier. This is more your frontline fighter, your standard fighter. You have a lot of interesting abilities to use weapons, mostly firearms, and other things to kind of change the course. So you're not just specifically like, oh, me and fighter, me walk up, smash. There's a lot of tactical playstyle you can have here. Additionally, if you want to build charisma, one of the abilities they get is menacing laughter. For a single action, your laughter or war cry can be heard over the din of your weapons. Fire, attempt an intimidation check, or demoralize each creature within 30 feet who is suppressed. And then suppression is a specific ability that they get. So it kind of bounces off. But that's cool because like maybe you want to play a very charismatic soldier, and that's a feature you could do. And then finally you have the Witch Warper, which Witch Warper is kind of a weird class. It's a combination of, like in my head, it's like Doctor Who meets Doctor Strange. And that's kind of this class. You have these paradoxes and you're kind of warping reality around you. And then you have that precog ability where you're forced to keep something connecting you to this reality. And it's a very intricate class. I looked through it a few times. I'm still looking through it and I want to dive deeper into it, but it is more or less it is your caster class. I don't want to say it's like a wizard. I think that doesn't do it justice. It just has a lot to it. There's a lot to this specific class. You do get spells similar with the Mystic, but there's just something about this class that like is very interesting, and there's a lot I want to do with it. So now coming to the next part, the skills. What skills have they added? What skills have they removed? All that jazz. Basically, again, because this is running off of the Player Core or Pathfinder 2nd Edition, they've added in computers and piloting. And then they just have your standard, if you check out the Pathfinder skill list, you have athletics, arcana, occult, crafting, intimidation, medicine, nature. All those skills work exactly the same. So basically what computers get to do, that allows you to hack. You can access the infosphere, which is basically like internet everywhere. And you could program computers. And what does piloting get you? Piloting is what you would use to do maneuvers for like driving vehicles. And what vehicles would those be? Well, starships, cruisers, small speeders and stuff like that. Now, I have to mention this. This entire paragraph right here talks about piloting. And they ask, hey, please use these skills. The problem is, in this book, there are no vehicles. There's no starships, nothing that. Now, they do make mention that they want to introduce starships and they are going to bring it forward, but they do not have it in this, which hurt me because I was excited to see starships and how star combat works. They do say, and I quote, if characters want to get from point A to point B, there's a whole lot of space in between those points. They can just hop aboard a shuttle or take their own ship out for a spin. Give them a ship. What could go wrong? Piloting checks decide whether it's a bumpy ride or smooth trip. And if players really want to get into a fight, just resolve combat narratively or through skill challenges, running it like complex hazards. Again, complex hazards make reference to player core. For now, I promise we'll playtest that good space pew pew soon. And they do make mention that vehicles are coming in Starfinder GM Core, and we'll be putting starships through their paces in the future playtest. So, it is not. So, if you were looking forward to that and you got to this point, sadly, there are no vehicles in this right now. I apologize for that. I didn't build this, but if that was something you were looking forward to, I'm very sorry. Now they go into feats. Obviously, they have computer feats, and they have a lot of feats. So they go back to, in Pathfinder, they say feats marked with a U are uncommon feats. These aren't widely available or might have a negative impact on play, so you should consult your GM before taking it. For more information on rarity rules, see page 11 of Pathfinder Player Core. Feats marked with PC can be found in Pathfinder Player Core. These feats will be reprinted in future Starfinder Player Core rulebooks. Again, they just didn't want to bog this book down with all the feats, because I remember the Pathfinder playtest book had a ton of feats and they kept on errating them and adding new feats to them. So they just say, hey, check out those. They have Catfall, which is, again, a PC trait. So Player Core, you could check that out. Recognize Spell, again, Player Core. But something for computers, you have Hologram Skeptic, and that's a feat. Programmer, that's a feat. And those are feats for computer skills. And again, keep moving forward. You have Medicine, you have Battle Medicine, a Player Core ability. But then you have Piloting, so you have Express Driver, drive long distances quickly. Or take the wheel, wrestle control of a moving vehicle. Again, great feats. Wish there were vehicles. Can't get everything you want, right? Then they go into equipment and spells. So basically, equipment, they go over equipment, and then you have this really cool picture. I thought this was a really dope picture. I want to show everyone. And like with all armor in this and equipment, armor has specific traits. There's analog, and there's bulwark, and comfort, and exposed. And then they have archaic. They have archaic, which basically refers to Pathfinder armor, Pathfinder 2nd edition armor. So if you want to have like elven chainmail, that would be a part of that concept. Now, coming from Starfinder 1st edition to Starfinder 2nd edition, they did get rid of, they do not have in this playtest, you're not using the 2 armor classes that they had in original Starfinder. Now you just have your standard AC. So there's no more kinetic armor, and they got rid of all that. They do talk about how do runes work, weapon runes and armor runes, and they said please refer to, Pathfinder. And then they have, all your cool melee weapons and guns. Look at that. That's pretty cool, right? Again, sorry I don't have the PDF or I bring up pictures. Then they go into spells, and they have a lot of new or interesting spells specifically for this, especially because with the Mystic you can get a domain, and they have new deities, and they talk about those new deities if you're new to Starfinder, which is great. They like one spell is inject nanobots. You inject magical nanobots into a creature, make a melee spell attack roll. On hit, the target takes 5d6 acid damage. On critical hits, the nanites swarm through the target's biological and mechanical systems, causing the creature to take double damage and be confused for 1 round. And then they have the attack, concentrate, and manipulate tags. And again, remember, coming from Pathfinder 2nd Edition, tags are huge, and Starfinder is just following that along. Now, with that said, this is a playtest, right? So, obviously, big bummer, we don't have vehicles. And it's going to be difficult if you're running a playtest to really use the piloting skills. They say, please try and use it. But again, without vehicles, it makes it difficult. They do say they will be coming, but currently not right now. So this is just playtesting the classes, the ancestries, and assuming weapons and stuff. Now, with all of that being said, hopefully you decide to pick up Starfinder. I know Starfinder. I know the PDF will be coming soon. With that, I think this is interesting. I'm excited. I want to take a look at a lot of stuff. The classes are interesting. I want to see more, and I'm excited to take my group out and to, get into some Starfindering space shenanigans. Space shenanigans. What else is there? So from all of us here at Nothing Venture, Nothing Game, I hope this video was enlightening, and I hope if you check out Starfinder, if you get the playtest, let me know. Let us know in the comments down below. And yes, tell me what you enjoyed, what you don't like, what bummed you out, what you're hyped about. Yeah, all that good stuff. So have a good one and be safe out there.